Okay, so we are live on, I don't think I'm going to go on live on Instagram today, so I'm just going to keep it here. So welcome to all of you. I am Coach Vuyanzi Rodman. And today, well, first of all, I help Black women leaders make career transitions with ease. I do have a special announcement in regards to that at the end of this, and this is not going to be long. I apologize for being late. We've been talking about wealth, abundance, prosperity. It is a journey that I am on, and I've been on at least for 3 years in a very intentional way and getting every day in every way, getting better and better. And tonight's topic is creating a wealthy environment, creating a wealthy environment for growth, creating a wealthy environment for growth. So I want to hit this really hard. And you know, if any questions come up, a lot of you will see this on the replay. Well, this is important because many of us are expecting things, we're expecting growth, but we haven't created the environment for growth. I'm going to say that again. Many of us are here. Why did you even join this group? For growth. You're here for growth, but you haven't even created the environment for growth. Let me speak about it from a perspective of a plant. You get seeds, right? You put them in the soil, but is that enough? Can you just put the seeds in the soil, put it to the side? I'm using a very easy example here. Many of you will look at me and say, of course, it's not enough to do that. However, why do we feel so strongly about a plant, but we're not willing to change the environments in our lives for us to grow? And I want to say this. The more that you want to grow, the harder you got to go. I'll say it again. The more that you want to grow, then the harder you need to go. What does this mean? Let's go back to the plant. I'm actually in the process of taking care of a friend's plant while she's away. And one second. I'm trying to tag everyone here, but I'm not doing a good job of it. So two of the plants, I call them the girls. I go to take care of the girls. I can't even tag the group. I don't know what's going on. Two of the girls, they're twins, two very tall plants, they're taller than me, were dying. And I was just like, girls, oh my gosh, I don't want you to die. Like the leaves falling off, the leaves are brown, they're not even green, falling off. So the first couple of times, I just watered them. But then I started, you know, there was a caring that I started to have about these plants. And then what I did was I started going hard. So in my going over there, I talked to them a bit. I'm like, you guys can do this. And I water them as never before. I water them like crazy. They're not in direct sunlight, but then sometimes what seems like it's the obvious thing isn't necessarily what it's supposed to be. So I started going hard. And a couple of weeks after I started going hard, what did I see? When I came in to water the plants, the leaves, some of the green leaves are starting to sprout. The old ones are dying, some green leaves. Now everything hasn't changed yet, but I'm starting to see the transformation because of the intentionality around the growth. Come on, ladies, let's talk about this real quick. First is the power of your thoughts. I don't know how many more times I'm going to need to tell you. You know this is change your mind. You want growth? If you're creating a wealthy environment, it's going to start with changing your mind first. Changing your mind first, right? Starting with the positive thoughts. And a lot of times people kind of poo-poo on positive thoughts, right? Because it's like, okay, that's what we do. And okay, we've heard that before, positive psychology, but it's the truth. It's the truth. If you're creating the environment starts in your mind. The positive thoughts. I want you to take an assessment of yourself. Where have you said, I can't, I won't, oh, please? Where are you having these negative thoughts? And how are those impacting? How are those impacting your ability to create a space, create the wealthy environment for your own growth? I can tell you every bit counts. As you speak negativity into the environment is hearing that. The environment is hearing that. That's a law, okay? When you're speaking it and whatever's going to happen, because there's life and death. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. So your mind, your words, right? Your mind will govern how you're thinking, and then what you spit out is coming directly from your mind. The positive thoughts are number one, the positive thoughts, and those being important. And let's talk about, right, the thoughts to your words. What are you affirming? How are you affirming the environment to create your growth? I told you I started talking to the plants. How are you talking to you? How are you talking to you? How are you affirming? Because you're saying affirmations every single day. Oh, that's hard. Oh, that's difficult. That's not easy. You're affirming every day. So now it's time to guard your mouth. It's time to bridle your tongue. It's time to pay attention to what is coming out of your mouth, because it is impacting you're creating a wealthy environment for your growth. The third thing I'm going to say is, when your mind is right and when your words are right, you begin to then increase the capacity for your growth. Let's go back to a plant. Have any of you ever had to repot a plant because it got so the roots, let's say, got too big and the plant could no longer stay in the pot? Listen, if you're thinking like this, but you want this kind of growth, your thoughts and your words are here, but you want this kind of growth. Do you understand what I'm saying? You need to expand your capacity to receive. I'll say that again for the masses. You need to expand your capacity to receive. You say that by continuing to build the thoughts around positivity. You say that by continuing to speak life to yourself, by affirming the right things, right? And then you expand the container, if you will. You expand your capacity for that growth in your life. Where's the growth? Is the growth on the side of wealth? In terms of financial wealth? Is the growth spiritual? Is the growth in terms of your relationships, specific relationships that are in your life? So you need to expand your capacity to receive. Listen, in the natural sense, you can do that. Think about the flow of energy, right? From the natural sense, I even want you to look at your environment around you in your house. Are you overrun with things? Are things cluttered in your house, right? A cluttered, what is it? A cluttered house or a cluttered room is a cluttered mind. If your mind is, if your mind is cluttered, how are you going to receive? Look at your desk. Is your desk cluttered full of just papers? And maybe you're saying, oh, it's my organized mess. Okay, fine. You can stay in your organized mess, but how can you receive when there's no place for it to be received? Your house, your kitchen, your bedroom, your closet. Is it overrun with clothes that you don't even wear? Time to clean up, time to clean up and clean out, time to clean up, time to clean out, so you can allow that flow of energy to come to you, so that it's not just your mind and your mouth, but now your space's environment is your space is creating the environment for energy to flow. You're doing it in the natural. Why? Because now you can be able to receive. Oh, wow. Speaking of receive, I'm like, my stomach needs to receive something here. So, and also creating that environment for growth by your association. So we talked about, right? Clean up, everybody, everywhere. And by the way, let me go back to cleaning up. A few years ago, when I moved from a 4-bedroom home to a 1-bedroom apartment, I actually read a book while I was doing it. And it was around minimalism, having what you need in your house and really getting rid of what you don't need, what you don't use. If you're like still having clothes with tags on them from years ago, I never wore them, or I haven't worn this in 3 and 4 years. Time to let go. It's time to let go. It's time to let go. So even when you're beginning to think about this, okay, so that's the physical aspect of it. Think about how are you going to cultivate that environment? Your associations. We talk about this a lot with young people, right? Oh, peer pressure, but I think it's something that's very relevant and prevalent right now. And let me tell you this, and we talk about this sometimes. However, sometimes even in those relationships that you've had for a long time, you've made a decision now that you want to grow, but those relationships with people that you love may or may not be serving you. You may have had some people that outgrew you, that they've said goodbye to you, and you can look at them and see their growth and their expansion. What is it time for you to do? Are your associations lending themselves towards your creating a wealthy environment for growth? Is that happening for you? And finally, I always talk about this, aligning your actions with what it is that you want, right? So we're talking about creating an environment, a wealthy environment for growth. So now we talked about the mind, we talked about the affirmations, we talked about the clutter, the energy flow. We've talked about your associations. Now, finally, your actions, your aligned actions. Are your actions in alignment for creating a wealthy environment for growth? If so, what are they? I'd love to hear from you. What actions are you doing? So for me, one of the things I do is I listen to books rather than, and I'm going to go back to even reading books, but I listen to a lot of books. Repeatedly, the same chapter, repeatedly, because these books that are speaking into me for my growth, it's not, oh, let me just listen to the book and go on to the next. No, I need to study it. So what does that do? That creates a wealthy environment in me for my growth. Because then once I study that material, then I see things different around me. So that's an action, and I see things different. I respond to things differently. It changes everything. That's just a single thing. What do you do, or what can you do as far as this is concerned? So I'd love to hear from you. I like to keep this short. I think we've kept it in under 15 minutes again. I want to tag, and I don't understand why it's not letting me tag Black women. Let me try Black women. And any questions that you have, women leaders, global network. Yeah, it's not even, I'm not sure. Facebook sometimes does something. And, oh, there we go. I can do it this way. All right. So anyway, now let me delete this one. So anyway, that is what I have to say today. We've kept it short, but I truly hope that you've gotten something from this. Today's topic, again, oh, and I have an announcement to make. Today's topic was creating a wealthy environment for growth. So here's here is something you can consider for creating a wealthy environment for growth. This month, starts the full transition of no longer accepting one-on-one clients and instead moving into a group model. My program is still called Career Passion Accelerator, the Career Passion Accelerator program. It's a group, okay? So because now we're going into the first iteration of it in group form, I'm offering a severe discount. If you want to know more about the program, then you need to get in touch because this discount that I'm offering is going to end on December 31st and everything will get started in January. But you'll need to reach out. Maybe if you type me in the chat, I'll reach out to you. You can also DM me with your email and I'll send you a video explaining the information and then you can decide if it's something you want to do. Okay, Queen, I love you very much. Thank you so much for tuning in and please write down your thoughts and your comments about everything. Mwah. I'll talk to you later. Take care.